Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome again to Coach Powell Pain Development Coffee Studio Meeting with Coach Powell. I'm loving having an opportunity to hang out with you guys, to chat with you guys, give you guys an update on what the beautiful things that are going on in my life and in my business. Let you know that everything is a-okay. Hopefully, everything's a-okay in your world. God gave you an opportunity to wake up this morning and actually be on, log on, check out this show at whatever time you check it out, whether you record it, checking out for a recorded opportunity, or you are actually live with us in the studio today, participating. And if you are live in the studio today participating, do me a favor. I want you to wake up the chat. I want you to jump in there and give us your name, the name of your company, name of your business, anything that you're doing. If you got a promotion going on that you want to share, go ahead and do that. If you've got an event coming up that you want to share, go ahead and do that. This is a business-friendly space. I can't tell you that enough. It's a business-friendly space. We want to make sure that entrepreneurs and business leaders of all type have a welcome and warm environment to share their ideas, their thoughts, to learn, to grow, to contribute as much as they possibly can to the ecosystem of the small business economy, especially here in the US, but all over the world. And we find that people watch the show from everywhere. If you are watching the show for the first time and you haven't, checked us, you haven't liked us, you haven't shared it, don't keep this a secret. Do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe if you're watching from YouTube or Facebook or whatever channel you're watching this from. If you're watching on LinkedIn, all the information that we put in the private chat is going to pop up later on after the show, so you don't have to worry about missing anything. If there's a question that you have about building your advisory council, please submit the question, or literally any question that you have about developing and growing your small business entity. One of the things we love to do is answer questions, and you'd be surprised how often your question might become a future program or a future series that we put together. Now, if you're watching today, you're realizing that we're in a series about developing and creating your hero council. What is a hero council? Your hero council is different in my mind than just a traditional advisory council. An advisory council might be sort of anybody that you pick to join your team and give you advice and listen to, and so on and so forth. And you might pick an advisory council for various methods or means. But heroes have special gifts. There's special gifts and special talents that you want to share with yourself and the world, right? So you want to make sure that you're the Nick Fury, right? You want to make sure you brought together a group of people who have such a high level of expertise that, if they choose to come together and do some amazing things, that's exactly what will happen. They may be great individually, but they will be phenomenal how your teams, how you're going to exercise and manage the expertise that you're able to come up with on your hero council, that you don't make the mistake of doing it wrong. And that's exactly what we're going to talk to you about today. We're going to talk about how to get your hero council in place, how to do the right things with them consistently and regularly to make sure that they're doing the thing that they need to do for you and your business, and that you can come up with a flawless, well-structured, well-put together profile and technique that's going to help you. Again, if you're watching the show for the first time, you're logging on, make sure you give us your information in the chat. Make sure you tell us who you are, where you're logging on from, where you're watching from. And again, if you have any questions about anything we're talking about today, throw that question in the chat. We might not be able to get to it throughout the show or the program, but I promise you we will get to it at some point. Now, why is the hero council important? Why is it important for every single person who's a professional at anything to think about putting together your own hero council? I'll tell you, we've been talking about this for the last few weeks, but I want you to understand that there are a couple of rules that are out there, and they're not myths. These are opportunities for you when you think about it to grow. How do you massively grow beyond your capacity to do and to know what you need to do and know to make that growth happen? Where you're going to have to depend on other people, which means you're going to have to be good at recruiting people. You're going to have to be good at leading people, and you're going to have to be good at keeping people engaged and focused and moving forward. This is a skill that leaders, today seem to be challenged by and with, often because, we have to use new technology and new tools in order to communicate, and people have a problem embracing and adapting to the current universe that they're in. People are trying to go back to work in massive scale. It's not going to work. People are used to being home. They're used to being independent. They're used to being able to focus on multiple things at the same time and be there for their families. And they don't want to go back into this commuting, sitting in line, waiting for hours on the freeway to get to someplace, just to that someplace that they can be actually more productive at home. And so, it's just not going to happen that we're going to go back to massive workforce. In fact, we're going to get used to hybrid meetings and doing things in that hybrid fashion, and we're going to have to, or become obsolete. That's really, in my point of view, no choice. It's like trying to say you're going to ignore, AI as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to engage. That's a ridiculous notion. If you ask me, I don't think that you should ever run away from opportunities to grow and to use whatever technologies are available, in order for you to maintain and thrive in your business and in your life. And these are tools that are out there that can help you do exactly that. Why would you ignore it? Again, if you're watching the show for the first time, no matter where you're watching the show from, you're watching us from Facebook, you're watching us from YouTube, you're watching us from LinkedIn, put your information in the chat. Let us know who you are, where you're coming from. If you have a business, put your business information in the chat so that we can give you a shout out for your business or whatever that is. If you're coming from, someplace other than Northern Virginia, or, because that's where we are right now, it doesn't matter where you are coming from. Put your information in the chat, put it out there, shout out yourself, shout out your community, and we will make sure that we enjoy and engage with you in that process. Let's talk about your Hero Council. What are the things that once you've gone through that process of recruiting the right people, identifying the right people, bringing them on board, what now? What do you do? What do you need to be amazingly gifted at to manage your team so well that you're able to tap into their expertise, even expertise that you don't have? You might not even know or even evaluate the quality of that expertise. We're going to give you some tips today, 6 strategies, 6 techniques that if you embrace these strategies and techniques, in a major way, you're going to be able to function. Now, these are things that we do all the time here at Coach Powell Training Development. We help entrepreneurs and business leaders grow their significance and grow their practices. And we use all kinds of techniques, tools, and strategies to make that happen. One of the things we do in terms of putting together an advisory council is counsel our members how to do some of the things that we're going to talk about right now. We counsel our members, our friends, our clients, everybody on how to do the things you need to do to really manage and leverage the expertise of others. Because it's all about leverage when it's all said and done. Speaking of leverage, before we get into today's topic, if you guys haven't registered for the Leverage Up Conference, the information's in the chat, whether it's through LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, you can just hit that link in the chat. You can register right now. The new conference is coming up on December. It's going to be great. I think it's December 8th. I'm not sure, but you let me know what you find. And I see my girl Leah is out there. Leah from LinkedIn is out there. Very good. So fun. So great to have you on board, Leah. Leah's a champion in of herself. We're talking about putting together hero councils. And I tell you right now, if you could talk a person like Leah Garcia onto your hero council, you'd be doing a great service to yourself and to your business, because she is one of the sharpest knives in the drawer. This cookie is no joke. And I mean that in all seriousness. I've been a veteran of the financial services financial services community for many, many years myself. And I know talent when I see talent, and this talent is absolutely super powerful. She's put her information in the chat. You can find her. Leah, if you can put your contact information in the chat, that'd be great, because people can then relate to you, put a link or somewhere where they can find you or contact you, even if it's just your LinkedIn profile. You'd be surprised who can pick this up. And one day I got to get you on the show as one of our keynote speakers, because she knows everything there is to know about, creating good business strategy, good business sense, helping you evaluate your business, creating value out of, what you're accomplishing. Is super, super, super important to be able to do that. And I'm hoping to bless you guys with this information. So let me share with some stuff with you right now, what we come up with. When you think about your advisory council, who needs to be on your hero council? one of the first things I promise you're going to have to do is get past your ego, because these people have more talent and more resources than you do. And if you've chosen correctly, that is a fact. That is the case, right? They know more about even sometimes your industry. I would suggest you look at people across various industries. You maybe get 2 or 3 people from your industry, and then 2 or 3 people from various other industries to really round out your advisory council. But we'll get into the makeup of that a little bit later, answer any questions you might have. But it's important for you to know that this has to be something that you cannot be on your personal high horse and go, I'm just going to do it my way. It's my way or the highway. I know many of us are in business because we've been hurt. We're in business because we've been let down. We're not necessarily was born to do this solopreneur, entrepreneur thing. We're doing it because we didn't get the respect we needed to get when we were in corporate America, or we didn't like what was going on in corporate America. We decided we wanted to do our own thing, and so on. I know how you came here. Right? But the problem is, what got you here won't get you there. That's a famous quote by my good friend Marshall Goldsmith. And I will tell you, as a coach, he's probably the best in the business. And it's true. If you want to reach higher heights, if you want to reach beyond your own capacity, you're going to have to work with others. You're going to have to learn how to value others. You're going to learn how to appreciate others. You're going to learn how to negotiate with others, how to communicate with others, and how to finally strategize collectively with others to maximize your experience and your potential, not just your potential, but their potential. You got working. I'm making that rule for you, because if you can't get past your own ego, you can't do the things that I'm going to suggest to you today, and you're not going to be able to be successful. In fact, this will hurt you. And so I don't want you to take these lessons if you can't get past that initial situation. Let's go with lesson number 1. Everybody wants to know what's in it for me. You have got to be able to incentivize the members of your hero council. Now, here's the thing. Everybody's want, everybody's desire, everybody's wishes, everybody's needs are different. And so you may have anywhere from 10 to 15 members of your hero council, and you got to do something different to incentivize each one of them. If you begin that process of going, I'm giving everybody the same thing all the time throughout the process, I'm going to do for everybody the same stuff exactly, you are playing a game that's a zero-sum game. It's going to work against you. Why? Why am I saying that? These are all rock stars in and of their own right. They all have talent and abilities that have been recognized and understood by others in their industry. And they are not going to tolerate, the peanuts that you are trying to throw out to them. Now, as I'm saying this, I recognize that, yes, it is important to pay people if you can. But that is not all that you can do to incentivize people to want to work with you. You have to have, there's a combination of fees, there's a combination of attitude, there's a combination of responsibilities, there's a combination of things that people may need to have in order to feel like they would be willing to make a contribution of their time, their talent, and their treasure. The 3 T's, right? Time, talent, treasure, on your behalf. Now, there are people out there who will do amazing things for you if you just understand that it's important to give them their flowers while they live. In fact, there's a program that I created called the RAP approach. The RAP approach is a program that's all about these 3 key ideas: respect, affection, and praise. Your ability to adequately and appropriately share and heap upon somebody else respect, affection, and praise in a very specific and very unique way will absolutely endure you to them. It is impossible for them not to love you back when you love them so well. And it's an important process I want you to give, because we're not used to actually giving affection. We're not actually used to sharing affection, saying, I love you, saying, I think what you're doing is amazing and I want to get on board. Well, I love how you've approached that situation. Can you tell me how you did that? Would you mind spending a few minutes with me, sharing with me how you've gotten to the things that you've gotten to, the other things that you're doing, just for a few minutes, or I'll pay for lunch, whatever. You have to be able to get people in the framework of wanting to even ask you the question, well, what is it that you do? What is it that you bring to the table? And you do that by giving them the respect, the affection, and praise that they deserve as soon as you see it appropriate to do so. Whether that's in a public meeting or private setting, it really doesn't matter as long as it is done. And they recognize that you feel them, that you respect them, you have an affection for them, you are willing to let them know specifically what about them makes your heart beat. What about them tingles your emotions? What about them, starts to make you start to get that feeling that things are going to be good, things are possible, things are great. What about their example? What about their research? What about their talent and abilities that they displayed that you think is magnificent? And here's the key to this, guys. Everybody has something that we all can marvel in if we take the time to just pay attention. Paying attention is golden. It is the golden gift that we all can give to one another, assuming that we're cognitively able to do so. Why do I say that? Because there's some of us who are on the neurodiversity perspective. What do they call it? I forget the name for it. But some of us have so many different perspectives, it may be difficult for us to be recognized or to recognize someone else's talents or gifts in a way that they can understand that we recognize and see them. And it's because of the neurodiversity that we happen to have. We don't really have the same kind of affect if you were autistic or on the spectrum, so to speak. That's the word I'm looking for. And so it's super important that as you go through incentivizing and figuring out what you're going to do to incentivize each and every member of your Hero Council, you have got to talk to them personally about that. What's going to help them give the best of themselves to the effort of helping you achieve your goals? Which means, by the way, you have to have your goals on display for them to know and understand what it is you're trying to do. You can't be, I'm thinking about possibly, maybe, kind of, I'm not sure about it. No one wants to advise you on nothing. They're going to want to advise you on something. So you got to be very specific about how you communicate your goals, very specific about how you communicate what your out clause is, what you're trying to accomplish, what your end game is, what your vision is, your mission is. You have to be very, very clear on what that is and how you're going to utilize that in order to grow your business information, your channels, whatever you got to do. So that's super important. The next thing, once you got your proper incentivizing going on, and you'll know immediately, by the way, when people light up and say, yes, I want to come and help you, it's because they see the benefit for themselves. And if you can't recognize that, if they go, well, I'm not sure, let me think about it, get back to me in about a month or two or three, you don't have anything. You don't have anything, and you really have to, again, follow the body language, follow the cues that they give you, and be honest with them. If you say, look, listen, I can see this is not blowing your hair back. This is not lighting you on fire. I don't know what it is I need to do, what it is I need to share with you. But would you tell me? That means you're starting to look for feedback, right? That feedback of what it would take for them to help you and be a part of your Hero Council. What would it take for them to feel good? Would it be other members of the Hero Council? Is it something in the documentation? Is it something in your presentation? What is it that's making them hesitate from saying, I'm gonna jump on board? It could be something in their own personal life. But no matter what it is, they're giving you the information that you need to get around or through or over that obstacle so that you can help them say yes to you. Now, when you're really good at communication and sales marketing and so on and so forth, you probably got that information off the bat and you already know what they're going to say yes to before you even talk to them, because you've done your homework, you've done your research, you've paid attention to who they are, what they're all about, where they're coming from, all that kind of stuff. If not, I don't suggest that you ask for anything, but that's a whole different course on how to sell and how to, create influence, right? The second thing, now, once you've got the incentive in place, you will also want to, by the way, these are not going in any particular order, these 6 strategies, but they are out there, and you have to know them all. You don't have to use them all simultaneously, but you probably should know them all very, very well. If you need any help, definitely give me a call. My information is across the screen. The second thing, once you've got a good incentive program going on, right, you might want to think about, how do you prioritize your goals. So many of us, especially the solopreneurs, especially the startups, have so much that we have to do, so much that we have to get in front of, so much that we have to try to manage and maintain, that literally is impossible to prioritize because everything is important. Everything has to get done. Everything is, but that's not true in real life. There are things that you like to do and things that you have to do and things that you should do, right? And you have to be good at understanding how to prioritize those things and how to prioritize the things that are going to be easier for you because you're strong in those areas, and how to prioritize the delegation of those things that are not so easy to you because you're not really strong in those areas. And you got to be good at identifying people who are strong in those areas and then hopefully delegating that information to them, or that opportunity to them. Same thing. Your hero council is no different. If you're not good at marketing, but you have 3 or 4 marketing professionals who are recognized in your industry, valued, won awards and all that kind of stuff, and they're on your hero council, why don't you give your marketing over to them? Or at least, even if you're good at it, have them evaluate what you're doing in that regard. If that's your strength, have them evaluate what it is that you're doing there, and make sure you're getting the best out of it. Because they're going to appreciate you even asking for their help, their ideas, their thoughts about how you might want to more appropriately or better do. And you don't have to do everything they tell you to do, but you do have to prioritize what it is that's most important. Thing 1, thing 2, thing 3. Anything more than 3 goals that you're putting in front of your advisory council is too much. Now, you might want to put, and I like this strategy, I use this before, I go with the 1-2 strategy. I will put 1 high priority goal in front of them that I need to have done, like right now, right? And then I'll put 2 future goals that I'm trying to hit. And every quarter when I meet my advisory council, I'm going to be looking and reviewing those goals. Sometimes I change them based on their feedback, based on the things that they've given me, based on the experience that I have. I may change those goals or the priorities of those goals, but I'm putting all 3 of them up there because some of them are going to go, well, I can do this and I can help you with that. I got resources for this. I got connections for that. And they'll help you get there. And some might go, you know what? I'm thinking about jumping right in myself. Instead of hiring somebody to do this thing, let me do this for you. And we'll wrap that up into my bonus or whatever it is that you're doing to incentivize that person, right? But the prioritization is critically important because it gives us something to focus on. It gives your advisory council, your team, something to focus on, something to win in, and something to see themselves moving in the right trajectory toward. If you don't prioritize what you're trying to do, you don't have a well thought through, plan of how you intend to attack those priorities or go after those priorities, then you're going to find that your advisory council is going to be sitting on the sideline watching you instead of jumping in the game and helping you perform. And they're just not going to, it's not going to be easy for them to do that because, you've wrestled a team of experts that you're not even utilizing the real value of their expertise. How long do you think they're going to want to play with you at any dollar amount? Because I guarantee you their time is much worth than what you can afford to pay them. Even if you find a way to pay them something, maybe it's a quarterly, you come to the meeting and you get a check from just coming to the meeting, but then you get an annual bonus at the end of the year based on performance. That might be something that I highly suggest you think about. What is their time worth? If you're going to have a quarterly meeting with them, probably that meeting is going to be a 2-3 hour meeting, right? That's 3 hours out of their life. And if there's travel involved or technology involved, there's cost involved with both of those things, right? But you got to figure out how you're going to deal with that. Maybe they won't want to use their own technology. And they need microphones, or they need headphones, or they need whatever they need to attend the quarterly meeting and do it well. You got to think about all that stuff and make sure that they're well equipped to participate and engage and be a part of the meeting, so that you can get the best out of their ideas, their advice, their thoughts, and so on and so forth. And they're actively engaged in a part of the process, right? Speaking of engagement, a way of you accomplishing number 3, after you got your incentives in place, you got your priorities in place, you have to think about strategically how you want to be accountable. This is the third thing, right? Third strategy. You got to be accountable. You got to be responsible enough to want to be accountable, especially to the people that you have on your hero council, because they're going to want to know, well, what are you doing and how are you doing? How good are you at this? And how could you be better? They're going to ask those questions. Like, how do you know you're good? How do you know that things are working in the right directions? What systems, what measurements, what things do you have that they can help? You can help give them, that can help them hold you accountable for what it is you're doing. Part of what I get to do as a coach often is to help my clients and friends and associates begin to be accountable for the things that they say they want to do. And I ask them all the time, do you really want it? Are you sure you want it? Because if you're sure you want it, I'll help you go get it. But if you're not sure you really want it, don't talk to me about it. Because I'm in the solution business. I'm in the process business. I'm in helping people move forward business. If you don't really want to move forward, don't talk to me, because I don't have the time. I'm about the business of helping people get it done and get it done yesterday, right? So we're gonna move like blazes. I was funny because somebody asked me recently, how can I get to be a client of yours? I tell you, it's really tough, because I don't pick everybody. I don't put everybody on the field just because they can afford to pay me. Sorry, you got to have the right stuff, because I got a winning track record. I like to win, and if you don't like to win, don't play with me. If you want to play shy, you want to play, backstage, you want to step out front and grow. It's no fun for me. That's where I am. I want to be there. So I want to be there with all my clients. I get 100% track record. I can't have everybody mess that up because they want to play small. Not going to happen. Again, they're accountable, right? When I help them recruit and create an advisory council, they're accountable to that advisory council. That means when I step away from the coaching contract, and their advisory council is there to keep them accountable. That's one of the goals that they may have for themselves, because they need to have that sustainable force that's in front of them all the time. By the way, the numbers are great about why you should have an advisory council, right? If you look at any of the growth statistics and what it takes to be successful, most people will say writing your goals will make you 6 times more successful than people who don't write their goals. But what will make you 9 times more successful than even people who write their goals is having the right team around you, the right group of people around you that can help you grow. And your hero council is that magical group that can help you grow astronomically fast, with a level of safety and a level of continuity that could live far beyond you if you do this right, if you harness this energy correctly. So back to accountability. Most people have a hard time, especially entrepreneurs, have a hard time with this accountability piece, because they never really had to be accountable to anybody except maybe the bank when they went and got their original business loan, or they needed to expand and they need to get some money and they're using their personal assets and so on and so forth. I'm like, I'm using my own personal assets as collateral. Why do I have to be accountable to you people about business plan and all that kind of stuff? Is because they have to develop trust in you in order for them to leverage their resources on your behalf. Isn't that the same from your hero council? Absolutely, yes it is. And I know I'm right. You have got to be willing to be accountable to the people that you want to have working with and for you, no matter what level of work that is, whether they are working on your advisory boards or your accountability partners, or whatever, mentors, advisors, friends, associates. You have got to be willing to be accountable. If you're not willing to be accountable, then you're just not going to be able to get the trust that you need to get out of people in order to leverage that trust into something magical that you can benefit from. You got to be willing to be accountable. So first 3 things we talked about, right? We talked about the importance of incentivization, making sure that you have the right incentives. We talked about prioritization, why priorities are very important. How do you establish them? How do you get them in front of your hero council? We talked about accountability. The next thing you have to do, and this is serious. This is more serious than probably anything else I've shared with you before. You have got to have well-documented, well-thought-through processes that highlight not just your vision and your mission, but your strategy, how you're going to get there, right? You got to have that well-organized well thought through process or strategy or goals, business plan, whatever you want to call it, right, is it critically important to prove to others, again, that not that you're willing, not just willing to be accountable, but that you have professionally considered what you're doing, how you want to do it, and where you want to go with it. If you don't have a well-written, well-thought-through, well-developed plan that you could share with others, then you're not going to be able to get them to go, I see this. I see what you're doing. I see where you're going. I like this. I want to be part of it. You're just not going to make it happen. You don't have the documentation. You can't prove that you've done the research, the studies. You can't prove that, you know what you're doing and where you're going. The numbers don't add up. I'm sorry. You're not going to get people. You're not going to get intelligent people to trust you if you don't have that. So you have to be able to have that. And this across the board. It doesn't matter who. Everybody wants to see well-documented, well-written, well-developed plans, what your commitments are to manage them, what resources you bring to the table in order to make that happen, what resources that you need, that you need for a fact in order to make that happen, and your risk mitigation strategy. What if this doesn't happen or that doesn't happen, right? All that's got to be a part of your plan. Now, for those of you interested in creating a plan like that, I've got a process that I'll put together. It's beautiful, and it's really the Vision Quest 90 process plan, right? It'll give you the documentation that you need to have to do that. I can give it to you for free. All you got to do is ask me for it. Marvin, I want that Vision Quest 90 plan, and I will send it to you. But my information is scrolling across the screen. You should be able to find me. All you got to do is ask for that and I will send it to you. Same thing with the wrap approach that I talked to you about earlier. If you want that, I'll send you the document. I'll send you the whole guidebook on how to do that, because I don't want you to have excuses why you can't be successful. Now, implementation, you may have problems with that. You may need to call me for that. But there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to plan. You shouldn't be able to strategize. You shouldn't be able to do your market research, your homework. You shouldn't be able to, come up with ideas and concepts that you can commit to paper to be executed by yourself and by others, right? Super important. You got to document it. Now you also have to document it. Your foundational documents have to be in place. What is your operations plan? What is your corporate procedure on anything and everything that's important and vital to the success of your business moving forward? Again, if you haven't thought about that, think about it, do it, create it now. If you need help, ask me for the guidebook, and I'll help you put together the structure that you need to put together in order to put together a well-written, dynamic, fluid plan that you can be successful with. I promise you, it'll work almost every time. Okay. The next thing you have to think about after you got your documentation in place and you got all that taken care of, you also want to think about, what's the diversification of your hero council like? Does everybody look like you? They come from the same places you come from? They come from the same industry you come from? They're the same age as you? Come on now. You know as well as I know. Studies show this. The more diversification you have at your fingertips, the better you're going to come up with innovation and creative ideas that you can validate, you can trust, you can know. How are you trying to attack the Hispanic market and you have nobody Hispanic on your team? How are you trying to deal with the disabled market and you have nobody that even is familiar with disability on your team? How are you going to penetrate the African American market, that Asian market, the LGBTQ community? All those things. You don't just have, and you want to just have those people on your team. You want their perspective. You want them fully and actively engaged, because they're going to help you attract a diverse audience. They're going to help you, take the language out of your program and your process that might be offensive to someone else, right? And add the language and the processes and the systems that people might want to embrace. Right. If I promise you, you're not going to be able to keep the attention or the direction of African Americans if you tell them that they can't express themselves in the way that they like to express themselves. That might be language, that might be music, that might be the way they dress, or it's inappropriate. You're going to go that, you're going to go there, then you're not going to get the quality of diversity that you could benefit from if you're going to offend people, or if you're going to try to mold them to a shape that they don't fit in comfortably. That's like forcing people to wear high heel shoes just because you like high heel shoes in the workplace. You can't do that. That's not good. First of all, it's not good for their feet. Right? Even if they think it looks good and you agree that it looks good, it's not good for you. So it doesn't. It's not something that you can do long term, all day, every day, 20 years, and keep going. You can have problems. I have podiatrist friends who have validated this for me, so I'm telling you what I know. You want to make sure that you have good diversification. You want to make sure that you have people from different perspectives and that can see this thing at different angles. Now, what's important about that perspective is you have to be good at perspective taking, which means you have to be good at putting yourself in the shoes of others and seeing the world through their lens and being able to understand how they feel as a result of how they see the world and how they experience the world, how the world experiences them. That is perspective taking. We can also call it empathy. If you're not good at that, then you're not going to be able to come up with the best ideas, the best strategies, the best techniques, and you won't be able to keep great people. You won't be able to recruit great people. You won't be able to function and target and focus in a market of people who are diverse or have different industry thought processes and so forth. You just won't be able to do it. You won't have the talent, the skill, the ability, probably not even the will. But it says a lot when people just put those policies up. Oh, we believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, but they don't act like they believe in diversity, equity, inclusion. They don't listen. They don't pay attention. They don't grab what they're seeing from other people's culture and figure out ways to use that in a way that's going to edify those people, make them feel the warm and friendlies that they should feel coming into your door, whether they're coming in as a customer or a stakeholder or an employee or wherever they're coming into that door. You want them to feel that warm and fuzziness. If they don't feel it, take responsibility for that. Back to that accountability. Take responsibility for it and say, listen, what can I do to make this work? What can I do to share the blessing of your relationship, right? You want to be able to do that and really want to respect diversity. There's tons of more information that I've studied and researched and put here in the guidebook, but that's out there. The last thing that you want to do, let's recap real quickly. You've done the incentivization thing. Okay, you got that. You got the priorities straightened out. You got that. You know how to run the accountability program. You got that. You're documenting everything. You got great documents and great standard operating procedures and all that kind of stuff. Got that. Diversification, click. What will kill you, what will destroy you is this one. If you don't regularly review, constantly seek to look at what you're doing now and ask, how can we make it better? What systems, what processes, what strategies, what techniques, what can we do to be better tomorrow than we are today? And if you don't do anything else with your Hero Council, but ask that one question and listen like God was speaking to their feedback, right? And again, I'm not saying you have to obey. I'm just saying to listen. Now, I will promise you, if you recruited a great advisory council, they're giving you some great advice and you probably just want to accept it and go with it. Because if they understand you and you understand them and everybody understands each other, there's no reason for you to second guess what they offer you in terms of advice and opinion. I know you don't trust people. I get it. You've been burned before. I understand. However, you have to sit down with your people, no matter what, and regularly review the systems, the strategies, the process, the techniques, and things that you've done currently. And you have to examine them for the benefit of the future to say, okay, how do we make this better? And maybe you might find out you don't have the right advisors because they can't come up with no new stuff or how to make it better. There's always a way to get better. There's always a way to do more. So if they're coming up with stuff like, no, we're good where we are right now, time to shake it up, time to change some things, because if you don't, you're going to grow static. You're going to grow into a good old boys network. Whether it's diverse and good, or with ladies and men and all kinds of different ethnic groups and ages, and the 5 different age groups that are represented in the workplace right now, everything's all there, everybody's all there. That's great. Guess what? It's still going to grow old and stodgy and difficult to move because they don't appreciate. They don't know how to appreciate the annual review, the quarterly review, the regular assessment of the talent and the abilities and the skills that you and your team bring to the table. It's just not there. And when it's not there, it's not there, and it hurts. Guys, I hope you guys got a lot out of this. I'm going to wrap this series up next week, and we're really going to talk through all the different key aspects of your advisory council and answer any questions that you would have about that. How do you create a better, stronger advisory council, hero council, whatever you want to call it, so that you can get the things done that you really want to get done, things that you can't do by yourself, but you can only do in collective and collaborative environments with other super talented people. This is Coach Powell signing off. I hope you enjoyed the program. I know that I did. If you have any questions or anything, you can always reach out to me, put it in the chat. If I can't get to it today, I get to it soon. I promise I will respond. I will respond. I will connect. I will engage with you. Definitely do that. Do the same for me. I love you guys dearly. Thank you very much for this opportunity. God bless you, and I'm out.